much confidence do you have in the moves by an aggregation of opposition members to unseat this administration? And the president has in fact said that he has no plans to interfere with any political party registration. But we haven't heard anything from INEC as far as allegations that it is sitting on the registration of intending political parties. How do you weigh on these mix of issues?
Number one, I find it ludicrous when I see Nigerian politicians running around claiming that they are forming coalitions. I find it ludicrous when the victims of their shenanigans begin to get excited on account of such shenanigans. Let me just put it that way. In reality, it is the victims, the Nigerian people themselves, who need to be looking to rally behind common interest and common causes. That you see politicians jumping together to get into the APC or banding together trying to form another collective to battle the APC. It's just a contestation for office. It's not a contestation found on the interest of the people. The last person in the calculation of these people are the victims of Nigeria who have been commonly assailed by them. What Nigerian politician, barring one or two exceptions, has ever really given any concern for the Nigerian? So I'm not interested in the coalition of politicians. I am more interested in Nigerian victims coming together to demand an overhaul of the electoral system and a return of some hope, some confidence, of some measure of integrity in that system, not the battered system that we currently have, destroyed almost beyond recognition after what happened in 2023. So anything the politicians are doing, it does. In fact, it alarms me when I see them.
But Mr. Farotimi, would your disposition change if the presidential candidate of the Labour Party were to become a key figure in this opposition coalition, so to speak?
Let me tell you this. I would be shocked if the Nigerian ruling class, the political parties, would come to a point where they would agree that somebody like Peter Obi should be the arrowhead of that coalition. I would be shocked because, frankly speaking, it would suggest that they've come to understand that the party is over and it has to end. And that might perhaps offer them an orderly way of getting out of the mess they've contrived to place Nigeria in after the many years of the misrule of this country. But I have no such illusions. They are not a people ruled by altruism. They are almost always governed by selfish interests. Rarely ever enlightened. Enlightened selfish interest should inform such a coalition because it is obvious that the only one amongst the lot who could possibly capture the imagination of the youth is Peter Obi, but it's not likely to happen. I don't see them doing that.
If you were to propose very fundamental reform that will bring people back to the table, because the Nigerian people have to be involved in choosing their leaders. If they're not confident that the managers of that process are not efficient or are not fair, then we're just joking here. What would you propose?
In 2023, we were told that BVAS would work. There will be real-time upload to IREV, and every one of us would be able to see how the election went. On this back of this and on the strength of this, we got people involved in the electoral system, new people registered in high numbers, and then Mahmoud did his magic. Now, the minimum anybody can expect to place on the table before you might find the kind of engagement that is meaningful in 2027 would be to ensure that there is automatic transmission of results so that we cut out all these glitches. Because in spite of these glitches, those who did what they did were the first to come out repeatedly to assure us that they will transmit these results. So it's a minimum irreducible. If we can't have confidence in the electoral process, we might as well just throw up our hand, especially when you have an INEC that is already refusing to register. What kind of democracy are we practicing? Even in the First Republic, we didn't have a party, we didn't have an electoral umpire that was busy registering people up and down the place, acting like might as well open an office for them in the APC headquarters, as far as I'm concerned. Though.
You can admit that Dele Fazemi is not far from the truth, and that going by what we've seen with INEC so far, fair enough, we might as well just open an headquarter for them in the APC's, or an office for them in the APC's headquarter. And that's true because every effort for other stability in political parties, INEC has actually thwarted it. So literally, INEC is literally working for the APC. So I often said this before, that I will find it very, very hard to believe that this particular government will push for electoral reform, because the basis on which this government exists, the lie and the falsehood on which this government exists, is based on the falsehood of the result that happened in 2023. And to now tell them to overturn that and make sure that things are done right, it will mean to unseat them. And we know by all means that there's no way Bola Tinubu wants to leave power. Okay, so, and I also share that belief from Dele Farotimi here that says that it will be shocked that the coalition will allow Peter Obi to spearhead the coalition to be the person that will be in charge of all the presidential candidate. Because you've often heard them say Peter Obi should come and be the running mate for Atiku. That's what they've been pushing. So I will also be shocked to see the likes of El-Rufai, Amechi, Atiku, who are the ones spearheading this coalition, to say to Peter Obi, you can't be the head of this coalition. You're the one that the people is gravitating towards. In all sense of the word, it's the easiest thing to do is this coalition, because there's already somebody that Nigerians are gravitating towards in the first place, and that's Peter Obi. So what would have made more sense would be to say, listen, Peter Obi, go, we'll support you, we'll form this coalition, we'll back you. All this political party, SDP, whatever, ADC, whatever they are called, will back you. This is the coalition. The people are supporting you. So it's easier to unseat this government. But guess what? They don't want it. And that's what Dele Farotimi is talking about. It is hard to find this political class. Remember, Amechi was part of Buhari's government. El-Rufai also was the chief campaigner for Bola Tinubu. So you can see that all of them is just about forming a coalition to remove a current Bola Tinubu, not because of they want to advance the cause for Nigeria. It's by their own selfish interests. That's why Dele Farotimi said that it's not about altruism here. It's about their selfish ambition. So I will be shocked, like Dele Farotimi, to come out and say that, and Peter Obi, I believe, understands this trick already, to say they come to him and tell him that this coalition that we're forming, you're going to spearhead it. You're going to be this presidential candidate. Maybe you can get Baba Ahmed to be your vice, or somebody else from the north to be your vice. You know, I doubt that's ever going to happen. You know, so Peter Obi might as well just sit tight with the Labour Party where he's at the moment, considering the fact that INEC is already frustrating them from registering new political party in the first place. You can see my point. So all of this coalition for me is about the contestation, like Dele Farotimi put it, contestation for office. It's not about, the Nigerian people. We already rally. Nigerians are already coalescing behind Peter Obi. So the easiest thing, like I said before, is to unseat Bola Tinubu with this hardship in the nation. The reason why Bola Tinubu and the APC are doing what they're doing, because they know they've caused fracas in the entire political spectrum. And they know that by dividing and conquering, they can win. So if you have this coalition here and Nigerians following Peter Obi on the other side, they know they've broken the vote and they can still rig the election and still be there in 2027. But you would think that the political class will understand that. Because at the end of the day, one thing they know is that once they don't defeat Bola Tinubu in 2027, they can then go back to the APC. So they played out their cards very well. So it's now left for us Nigerians and all this job we've been doing, especially the young Nigerians, all these jobs we're doing of talking and calling out government and calling out their falsehood. We have to continue. This sensitization, this call for electoral reform where we want automatic electronic transmission of election results that Peter for Nigeria is pushing. It's something we're all pushing. But I, for one, I'm not holding my breath for it. And the reason I've said that on several occasions in my videos as well, I've said it before, that this political party, will not do the right thing, because the existence of Akpabio, Bola Tinubu, Shettima, the likes of all these APC governors, the existence of this current government in office is based on corruption, and you want them to defeat corruption. Take this as another example. Bola Tinubu said in his campaign he was going to reduce corruption. Do you see any iota of corruption reduction in his administration 2 years and counting? The answer is no. Why? Because that's exactly what brought him into power. So as Nigerians, we must make sure and ensure we continue to sensitize more people. Because if we don't do that, that's to our own detriment. We have to make sure that we keep talking to more people, because the hardship is real. Things are pretty expensive. People can barely feed. Nigerians are living on by the scruff of their necks. And the government is saying that they're doing work. So again, put your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think about what Dele Faratimi said. And also let us know what you think about 2027, how we can work hard together as a people to unseat this government, this anti-people government of APC, and get APC out of our system like we want to do with PDP forever. Again, as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and also recommend this channel to others. I'll catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.